How you guys doing today? This is Alex, and it's your weekly fishing report. We're pretty much getting rain on right now, but we got some good fishing reports from some people for the past week. Just Wednesday the 16th, we switched over to the summer season, and the news is that they passed a new law, so they dropped an inch for the keeper size limit, which is 19 inches now. 2 fish over 19, only 1 over 28. So you're going to be able to keep some smaller fish, put fish on the boat a lot faster. Just make sure you go to the DNR website or go to our Facebook page, and we do have a full thing on what the new rules are for chumming. Check this out before you go out there, and remember what the new rules are. So let's start off with the rock fishing. Trolling wise, there's still some big fish around. You're going to be trying to switch to downsize to some smaller tandems, smaller umbrellas, so you can put some more fish on the boat now that you can keep 19-inch fish. Best way to do that is by using these little guys here. You have a 6-inch and a 4-inch shad. You can still run the 9-inch tandems and whatnot. Just mix a couple of the smaller ones in there so you can put some meat on the boat. Have at least some fish for you guys to keep. With this rain right now in our upcoming week, I'm gonna be recommending the dark colors, dark like black, bright colors like chartreuse are going to be the ticket for you guys to be able to get some fish. So keep that in mind. We didn't have any reports of anybody specifically catching in one spot, but your typical thing that we've been talking about for the past month. Just pretty much run the channel edges, zigzag those edges. Right now, the only thing I'm going to tell you is to remember you can fish the mouth of the rivers. We still hear that there's a decent amount of fish up in some of the rivers and some of the areas where you're still only allowed to do catch and release. And like I said, check the DNR site for the full details on that. I think once June comes around, you're gonna be able to go into the rivers and keep the fish in there. As of now, it's still catch and release. Main Bay area, it's the only place where you can keep those fish, 19 inches and above. So trolling wise, you're going to be able to put some fish on there. Good quality fish that we've been hearing from a little bit down south towards Breezy Point, Chesapeake Beach, and the power plant. That's one of the common places where a lot of people have been heading down there and getting quick limits on fish, and actually catching some of the bigger size fish, and still catching some of those trophy size fish down there. As you get to this Middle Bay area, Thomas Point has been picking up, and it's producing some good fish, mainly in the morning, afternoon bites for you guys trolling around there, and also around here on the eastern side, channel edge, which goes from Bloody Point to Luff Point, mainly in Bloody Point area. That's what I've been hearing a lot of people saying that they've been getting into a lot of fish. And that's because of fish coming out from Eastern Bay moving into the Main Bay area. In front of Poplar Island, you're going to be able to catch a good amount of fish, mixed size range of fish. And this is the time of the year when a lot of people start switching to chumming. Chumming will become the thing right now. If you want to take the kids out, you don't want to run around anywhere, chumming is a thing to go and do out there. And remember, check those regulations out there for your chumming, because if you are chumming, you do need to use circle hooks. So 5 to 7 knot hooks if you're using chunk sail LY. That's going to be your best size. Make sure they're straight inline hooks, not offset hooks for the circle hooks. Best of some of the spots that I'm going to recommend for you guys to go out there right now that have been producing, and we've talked about it in the previous weeks, and they're still one of the spots, and I predict them to become even better. It's going to be Hackett's, Pedickery Point, right in front of Sandy Point on that 30-foot drop off there. That's another good spot that no one really fishes, and it's produces fish. Luff Point, what we've been hearing is a decent amount of fish. And right around the typical spots from back in the day, the hill right on the mouth of the Eastern Bay, anywhere in front of there on Bloody Point, you can also anchor up in the drop-offs and fish, chum the fish up to your boat. Obviously, baits of selection, take out there, take some frozen LY if you're going to be chunking, and then get some fresh LY for, for your actual baits. And for those of you who always get confused with LYs, LYs are called many things: menhaden, LY, bunker, pogies, depending on where you're coming from, and from the East Coast. You call them different names. They're the same fish. We have them here, so make sure you come by and get some of those LYs for your chumming. Now jigging. Jigging is also producing. Jigging is the thing that everybody wants to do nowadays. So jigging wise, you're going to have to search a lot of different areas for fish. But like I mentioned earlier, some of the better places to go check out right now that are pretty much almost always producing fish is still down south at the power plant, Calvert Cliffs power plant. Some of the eastern shore islands are holding a lot of fish in shallow around, Tillman Island, all those places down by Smith Island on that eastern shore side. Even seeing reports of some people still are catching some redfish already on the lower eastern shore and some speckled trout. Not many, but they're there. So, that's one way to go out there with paddle tails, small half-ounce jigs. The X-Wraps, Rapala X-Wraps, 12s, the size 12s and 10s, shallow divers. And also now for you guys out there on the shallows, top water is becoming a thing early in the morning. So, Cold Sniper, pretty much spook, zigzag bait, that's going to produce a lot of fish in the mornings and evenings. So now that we have higher temperatures, that's going to be a thing to throw around, shoreline structure. Or if you see open water fish, that's a good bait to throw out there. One little trick for your little trick of the week, I should say, it's going to be this little teaser rig here, and this is by Tide Rite. They're pre-rigged. So what this does is it gives you a little snap here where you can snap your jig top water. This is a monofilament leader. So essentially what it does, it gives you a little loop here with a little fly teaser that swims through the water. You can catch doubles if all you're finding is some smaller fish, but it also attracts some of the bigger fish because if you're jigging or swimming anything along, you have the profile of a little bit bigger fish chasing something a little bit smaller. So that produces a good amount of fish. You can hook up to doubles and have a little fun with that. So that's going to be your little trick of the week there with that. Shallow, deep, you can use it, you can name it. That's a thing that not a lot of people do anymore. This is a little bit heavier leader, so you're looking at around 40-pound leader, just in case you do hook 2 fish. You never know what you're going to catch up there with that. Up in this area, the Bay Bridge pilings are producing a decent amount of fish. It's always hit or miss, so you want to move around from piling to piling. For the stripers around here, eastern rock pile, western rock pile always produce fish when the tides are moving around, so check those out. Pedicry Point, you can jig around there. Luff Point also in there, so check those areas out. I've heard some people catching them in the middle of the channels from southern of the bay to Thomas Point, so check those areas out for suspended fish. Also, if you're trolling or just casting spoons, the Tony's Classics 17 size, gold or silver. You can troll them, you can cast them out, they produce fish. Don't forget about those. Now let's move on to some of the shoreline fishermen. Sandy Point's still producing a good amount of fish. Same thing, that place is a classic morning, evening bite there. Cut bait's gonna be your best bet, but don't be surprised, you can throw some topwater plugs there in those same timelines, morning and evening, and it can produce some fish. A lot of people are catching a lot of shorts and keeper-sized fish on Kent Narrows, but you remember you cannot keep them there until June. So make sure you catch and release there. A lot of fish in there though, so keep that in mind there. For you guys jigging, a little tip: since we're going to be getting a lot of muddy, super dark water because of rain, black BKDs are going to be a color to try out. I know most people think of them as a nighttime lure, but that is also a classic color for muddy water. So if you have really stained water conditions, black with a little bit of spiked scent, and that will be the ticket for you guys. So try those out this week when we have super dirty water out there. Let's go into some perch fishing. Perch fishing all around the shallows now on the bay and creeks. Your typical summer pattern out there. If you're bottom fishing, bloodworms, grass shrimp, and even razor clams are going to be working the best for you guys. If you're on a boat, just find some hard bottom, oyster bars, anything like that. The perch will hang around there, even along the side of the pylons with soft crabs, and you might even catch a rockfish with that. Now, little new lure that we're carrying for you guys for the perch fishing is this micro chatterbait by Seaman there. It's a micro, it's like I believe 1/8 of an ounce. A lot of action, a lot of vibration, and you can pair that up with like a 2.5 to 3 inch curly tail on it. And that's going to be a killer for you guys fishing the shallows, shoreline structured docks, anything like that. You can jig them, you can just reel it in, bite catch any kind of fish with this. So try those out. I know I talked to you guys about this before. New styles of perch pounders. We have willow blades on this one here. This is a loose change. It's a silver, old silver color, 1/4 ounce. And this is the Magothy Money, old gold. For you guys who like gold out there, that's going to be a good color out there. Just toss them around structure, shorelines. Great way to get kids into fishing. They do catch fish, so try those out. Chat fishing, it's pretty much going to come to an end now with all this rain. This previous week they were catching a lot of fish on the Potomac, Susquehanna, and any of the small creeks, but now that it floods up and the water temperatures drop, those fish are pretty much going to be pushed away. Bass fishing, still on more like a actual spawn time now. So a lot of fish in shallows, in beds, so try bright colors for that. Snakeheads, typical thing as bass. If you can find them, toss anything at them depending on your area. Topwater lures, chatterbaits, spinnerbaits, blackwater. For what we've heard, it's been pretty good, producing a lot of fish lately, like it always does. Since the water temperatures are still rising, you're gonna find them in shallow, really shallow. And if not, just toss some live bluegills or live minnows, and they should be able to produce fish. And that's it for our weekly fishing report. Make sure you send us some pictures. Send us your fishing reports. And you guys have a good one.